nebo nějaký.
Good afternoon. Welcome to today's PQ Symposium. We are very happy that you could join us today. I am Michaela Burjankova and I am the PQ General Manager. And we hope that this event will help you to understand the content of all PQ 2023 projects, and you will be able afterwards to choose the best way to join us here in Prague in 2 years. We have a lot of information to share with you. So we will record this symposium also for those who would like to check it but are in different time zones. So just be aware that we are recording this symposium and it will be made available online on our YouTube channel. If you have any technical issues with the Zoom webinar we run this symposium on, please write your questions into the chat box and we have Anna, our Zoom expert, to help you. Let's start with today's program because we have a lot of things to do. And first of all, I would like to introduce our director, Pablo Petrova, who is a PQ General Director, and she's also a Director of Arts and Theatre Institute here in Prague.
Hello, good afternoon in Prague to everyone. And because we have really a lot of information to share, I just wanted to give you very, very warm welcome. And I hope that with some of you, I will meet personally on site next year for a real symposium in Prague.
Thank you. This symposium will be divided into 2 parts. In the first one, we will give you more information about PQ main exhibitions, which are exhibition of countries and region and a student exhibition. And we will have members of our Prague team here to answer your questions. You can send your questions into the Q&A box in the Zoom webinar. You should see that. And during the second part, we will talk about other PQ 2023 projects. We will have a short break between the first and second part, and we will explain to you then how to apply and the content of the projects. Right now, I would like to give floor to the PQ Artistic Director, Markéta Fantová.
Thank you. Hello, I'm here, even though today is really about introducing the whole team, Prague, as well as our international. I would like to just quickly remind everyone what the main theme for this next edition of PQ will be. We have introduced this before, but because it is intertwined through all the projects as well as exhibitions, it is also our starting point of a dialogue, I think, as we all meet in Prague. And because we do not exist in vacuum, but in relation to other people, and our attempts to somehow lately digitalize that experience of community, of humanity, it doesn't quite capture what it feels. We find ourselves in times that are very strange, unprecedented, really unique. And so our theme is reflecting everything that is happening around us at the moment. And the theme is called Rare. And as I said, it is intertwined throughout all the projects as well as exhibitions. And the way it works is that we are going through a very strange moment of change, where a lot of new things are coming up, and a lot of new things in terms of art and theater is happening that needs to be captured and shared, and that's what we hope to do. So what we also realize is rare is the moment of meeting And that's exactly what we want to do at this PQ. We all want to come together, and whether you're flying or going by train or finding some other ecological ways of getting here, that's great. But because we are doing this every 4 years, not every year, our main goal is to get together and have the rare opportunity to inspire each other and exchange ideas. So how does this theme of rare works with other projects and exhibitions? With the main exhibition, which is the exhibition of countries and regions and student exhibition, each one of them has a slightly different way of looking at this word rare and at the uniqueness of, in student exhibition, for instance, at the unique places that people are surrounded by, because we had plenty of time to explore what is happening in our nearest surrounding and learned a lot of new things about where we're growing up, where we're studying, what's happening, and we could look into legends and also regional ideas that we need to share at the moment. And with the exhibition of countries and regions, we would like to look at things such as the visions, the visionary capability theater has, and people who are working in theater, sonographers, performance designers, they oftentimes come up with ideas that happen. They come up with them years before they happen. And so we want to look at that capability and what our ability to see into the future might be. And so in a similar way, each of the projects, which will be introduced by our international team and our Prague team, will explain how this theme rare works for each one of these. Please read what we're trying to share with you, because this is something that is our starting point of conversation. We would like to see how you react to our theme, our idea, our thoughts. We believe that it will resonate in various different parts of the world. And we are interested to see how the conversation and the dialogue that happens here in 2023, how it will go and what the exchange will be. So thank you, and I'm handing it back to Michaela.
Thank you. So that was a recap of the artistic vision of the next PQ. And I would like to welcome Magdalena Brožíková, who is our manager responsible for the PQ main exhibitions. So she will explain briefly how to take part in them.
Hi, my name is Magdalena and I'm the exhibitions manager. I would like to remind everyone that the deadline to apply for the exhibition of countries and regions and the student exhibition is on the 30th of November at the end of this month. And if you'd like to apply, you need to fill out an application form and email it to me. I can show you on our website where to find it. So if you go to www.pq.cz, if you click on all information, here you can find our open call. I'm just gonna quickly show you the call. You can find the artistic concept, general information about PQ, what projects and exhibitions we're gonna have, everything, all the information is in here. There is also a basic timeline, and at the end of this form, there is the application form. If you go on our website, if you go back to the main page and if you click exhibitions, you can download the application form separately from here. And I would like to let you know that applications for projects need to be sent via Google Forms, but my colleague Ivo will talk about it later. So if you'd like to apply, for example, for Fragments exhibition, you need to fill out the Google form. And in December, I'm gonna contact everyone after the deadline and confirm the participation. And in January, we're gonna send out the first organizational manual where you will find out more details about the space and what to do next. And I think I can hand over the mic back to Michaela.
Thank you. Okay, so I guess you are all very curious about the next phase of PQ 2023, because I think it's very different from what have you experienced during the last few PQ editions. So I would like to ask Adam Svoboda, who is the head of production, to tell you more about the area we will be.
Thank you, Michaela. I just need to switch my place because I need that computer over here. So just give me a second. So hello, I'm Adam Svoboda. I'm head of production for upcoming PQ. I will tell you more about the venues and spaces and areas where the next PQ is gonna happen. And I would like to start with a short video. It's atmospheric video we shoot of our main area of exhibition grounds, Pražská tržnice. We call it Prague Market. So if we can just play it now. So that was our, let's say, sneak peek video footage of our main PQ 2023 area. Don't worry, we will provide you with more footage, with more pictures and more information. Firstly, coming in January with our organizational manual. I would like to express it at the beginning before you start to ask questions about, I don't know, how much electricity you will provide for this specific hall. So don't worry, we will specify that in January with more details. And now I would like to tell you more about the locations for PQ, starting with Prague Market area with my short presentation. Also, this presentation, we will put it in a chat later on, so don't worry if you don't catch anything. If somebody will be interested in my short presentation, you can get it and download it. So let's start with Prague Market, or as we call it, Tržnice here in Czech Republic. It's a former slaughterhouse for the whole Prague, so it has really like industrial feeling, let's say. I like to call it, it's a city in a city, because you can find a grocery store there, you can find a really big vegetable market, you can find a drugstore, a big computer store, but on the other hand, you can find a big theater there, you can find empty halls where you can organize your cultural events. Also, many of the culture-involved NGOs are moving in the area. So, like, let's say 10 years ago, it was really like a market, but the transformation began a few years ago, and now it's really like a small city in Prague. And the transformation we really like, so that's one of the reasons why we moved to that area. I will now like to tell you what projects, what part of PQ is gonna happen over there, because then we have two other venues, which I will talk later. So exhibition of countries and regions gonna happen there in indoor halls. I will show you a few pictures later on, but as I said before, all the pictures you will get in January, and also when we upload this video, there will be a link for a gallery with more detailed pictures, because we don't have time to show you all now. So exhibitions on countries and regions inside of those industrial halls you just saw on the video. Also, student exhibitions, it will be outside, probably on a green market. I will show you a picture later as well. PQ performance, it will be on the outside stages. I will show one example. It won't be exactly as it will be on the picture, but you can have an idea how it will look like. PQ Talks. PQ Talks is gonna happen at stage of Jatka 78. Jatka 78 is that theater I talked about. They have a really nice stage, also like really industrial feeling in there. So that's where the PQ Talk is gonna happen. PQ Youth and Family, we need to decide where it will be. And PQ Best Publication Award and Performance Design, we will tell you details also about that project later. So here is a small map of how the whole area look like. So you can get an idea how it's structured. We're gonna use mainly the hall number 13, number 17. Hall number 7 is the theater I talked about, and so on. That's just like you have an idea how the whole area looks like. Here is similar picture, but from a bird's perspective, and it's a photograph. It's actually quite old picture, so there are still some tents like shopping stalls and stuff. It's removed now, so it's much cleaner. There's atmospheric photo how it actually looks like right now. So they put like a food trucks in there. There's a lot of cafes, and the vibe is really great. And now we go on with some inside indoor places. It's just to have an idea. We're gonna use those halls, but don't expect that they will look like exactly like that. It's just so you know the feeling of the place. This is another hall. This is the biggest one. The hall number 17, you actually didn't see that one in the footage, so we will provide you with another footage probably at the beginning of next year. So I have more pictures of this one. And that's the last one. Here we have a green market, our main outdoor venue, let's say. Probably the student exhibition will be there. We are also planning some kind of stage and stuff like that. Now we can move to Yatka 78, that's that theater. That's the venue where the PQ talk's gonna happen. Here is their outdoor stage for the performances, also for like summer theater, some screening, maybe concerts, stuff like that. So it won't look exactly like that, but you can have an idea how it will look like. And there is their cafe. Besides the projects which is gonna happen at Prague Market, it also gonna be our main area. So there will be accreditation center, there will be a guest service center. It will be our main meeting point. Let's say most people gonna visit this venue because almost everything is happening there, but not all of it. And we have other important projects and venues. So let's move to Academy of Performing Arts in Prague, onto their theater faculty. We call it DAMU, and this is the venue for almost the whole PQ Studio project. So as you can see, the PQ Studio stage will happen there. I will show a picture of a theater where it will all happen, but also it's a venue for exploratory workshops and masterclasses and result-driven workshops. It's in different part of Prague, but it's quite close. You can get everywhere by a tram. And this is the theater. This is the theater for PQ Studio stage. So it looks like that. It's like a medium-sized black box. And our last venue is a national gallery and their trade fair palace. It's not 100% sure it will happen how we want to, because it's still in a negotiation. So, but what I will present you is our idea and what we want to achieve, what to happen there. So, it will be our uncommon design project. In also fragments 2. Is it fragments 2? Fragments 2. Also part of performances, because part of performances will be in Prague Market area, but might happen that some of them will be also in Trade Fair Palace. And performance space exhibition, it's also gonna be probably in National Gallery. Don't take it as a granted, but that's what we want to do. That's how the building looks like. Also a kind of industrial look palace. This is the inside, because it's functional normally as a gallery. And this is example of one of their rooms. And if you wanna know more about those places, you can go to one of those links. Unfortunately, Prague Market area website is only in Czech, but I'm sure you can find information in English about it. We can also provide it in that organizational manual. So there is a link for Prague Market area Yatka 78, which is that theater located in Prague Market, Academy of Performing Arts in Prague, that school and National Gallery and their Trade Fair Palace. So you can explore yourself on those links. And if you have some other questions, you can write me an email, of course. You can call me, but prefer emails actually. And you can find all the necessary informations in that organizational manual, during which will be finished in January. So more pictures, more pictures of the venues will be in like a week, or maybe in 2 weeks. It will be provided on that YouTube link where we upload this whole symposium. There will be a link to other photos, other footage of our venues. Probably will be at the beginning of next year, and organizational manual in January. So if you have like really specific question, I kindly ask you to maybe wait to January when we will provide you with more. I think that's all from me.
Thank you. And I would like to ask Magda if she can join me again, and Erika, who is our office manager, so we can go through the Q&A section and see if there are any questions we can answer right now for you.
So hello, good afternoon. It seems like everything is clear because we have so far just one question. So is the participation from UK decided by Society of British Theatre Designers?
That's a great question, and I think we have not received the official application yet.
No, we haven't received an application from the institution, SBTD. However, they are the traditional organizer of the British participation. So if anyone from the UK would like to apply, I guess you can send the application, but in case we hear from SBTD, we're gonna put you in touch, because we can only apply, we can only accept one application form per country or region.
Yes, exactly. In case we will get more applications from one country, we are trying to connect those two organizations or those two interested parties and get them in touch and find a solution how to represent the country, and it usually works. So, yes. Is there anything else?
Yeah, there's another question. Is the student exhibition in open air?
Well, it's planned to be on the main square in the market, and the technical details are to be decided because our architect is working on the plans at the moment. So further details will be available hopefully in the first organizational manual that will be released in January.
Okay, thank you.
There's another question. What about Greece? Is it through the International Theatre Institute?
I can't remember everyone who. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't remember everyone who applied so far. But if there is anyone from Greece who's interested, please send me an email and I'll double check if I've received an application from Greece, because I'm not sure at the moment.
Yeah, I would.
We'll put you in touch and we'll figure it out. Don't stress about it. We're open to collaborations.
Yeah, I just want to explain that the representation of a country or of a region, the process of selection of the representative of each country and region is different in every country. So here in Czech Republic, we have an official open call to, and anyone can apply. And we have a commission, they decide who will be the one that will represent Czech Republic. In some countries, the selection is going through the Oystat Center. In some countries, we have a singular artist who applies himself or herself. So we cannot really answer these questions in general because the process is very different in every country. So if you want to represent the country and you don't know if there's already any organization that applied, or you don't know what exactly process you should take, the easiest way is to contact Magdalena. You will find her email on our website, and she will try her best to connect you and solve the situation. Okay, anything else?
Well, there's another question, I think for Marketa. Will there be an area like in 2019 that had VR?
Okay, I'm gonna swap with Marketa.
Well, we still have 360 as a project on the table, but we are looking for funding. So there is a possibility that there will be some kind of VR possible. We are also in preparation talks with another entity that is present at the Prague Market, and they might be able to help us with some technologically driven workshops or other things of similar nature. So something like that may still develop, and it very much depends on funding. And I just wanted to add one more thing, and it has to do with the student exhibition. There will be a bigger announcement about the reason why we chose and how we chose the space for student exhibition. We are definitely considering outside that large square that you saw, Adam showed you. Reason for that is that we are in, actually lately we had been working more outside than inside, more in outdoor spaces because that turned out to be free and safer from the COVID situation. And so a lot of work was developed in urban areas and outside spaces open to elements. We are also dealing with environmental issues and other issues. So it seemed appropriate to open it up to this kind of an environment and see where it takes us. So this is something that we'll also let you know more about, and it's something that we're working on at the moment.
Okay, so stay here with us for now. Do we have something else?
Yes. Also, question for Marketa. Can you tell us a little bit more about the theme? Is it only shows that cover the theme rare?
Is it only, I'm sorry, I don't,
Is
is
it only shows that cover the theme rare?
Shows, you mean performances in the sense of performances?
Yes,
I think
yeah, because
that
if you talk about performances, it's something we will talk about in the next session of the symposium. Because if you would like to participate at PQ with your performance or your show, there are the open calls for the other projects. Maybe not the main exhibitions are the best fit for you. And we choose all the applicants really for all the projects we have open calls, so anyone can apply, and the process is very open. So just for those who are not familiar with the PQ and the whole program, what we talk about now are the main PQ exhibitions, which has to be done and applied through a national curator. But then we will talk about the other PQ projects, which are really open to anyone.
And also, yes, the theme rare is interwoven through all the projects, but it has a different, I would say, direction for each one of them. And if you want to see the structure of the project, please take a look at some of the links that you already have that is taking you back to the main call of PQ, as well as the calls for the projects, and that'll tell you what you can apply for.
Okay.
well, there's a question about social distancing. Could you talk about that and other sanitizing protocols on site?
Yes, this we will wait for the development of this pandemic situation, and we really hope that in almost 2 years, when the PQ will take place, that we will be in slightly different conditions. But of course, we will ask our participants, our attendees, to follow some basic health regulations, and we will see about the development, but that's something we have in mind that we will need to think about for this large event.
Another technical question: what is the deadline for open call projects?
We will talk about the PQ projects at the next session of this event, and the deadlines differs. So each project has different deadlines.
Well, another question: will all countries and regions have the same size as in 2019 in meters?
Yes, we would like to do that.
Well, I can check another questions, but I think we have answered them all.
Okay, great. Because of course, if you have any questions about the exhibitions and the projects, you can check easily our website and you will find all the emails you will need. So don't hesitate to send the questions if you are uncertain about how to apply. But first of all, we really hope that the open calls are clear, that the deadlines are clear, and if there's any problem, just get in touch. Okay, so I guess we have time for our short break. We will, of course, open the Q&A section for the next session too, so you can give us your questions. And after the break, our colleague Ivo Kessler, who is the manager of PQ projects, will guide you through them, and he will introduce all members of our international team. And we will start at 5 o'clock Central European time, so we have about 20 minutes. So get some refreshments and we will see you here in a while. Thank you.
Hello, welcome back after the short break. My name is Ivo Kessler and I work for PQ as a project manager. My main job is to coordinate all the applications and help curators to build projects they will choose for the next edition of the PQ. I help them with the project preparations, administrations, and connect them both with the production and with the artistic department of our team. Besides student exhibition and exhibitions of countries and regions, my colleague Magda already talked about, we organize PQ projects, which consist of 6 different projects curated by 6 different curators. The projects are called Fragments 2, curated by Clara Ciglarva from Czech Republic, currently based in United States. Performance Space Exhibition, curated by Andrew Filmer, originally from Australia, but living in UK. PQ Talks, curated by Barbara Příhodová from Czech Republic, currently living in Philadelphia, United States. Best Publication Award, curated by Pavel Drabe from Czech Republic, living in UK. PQ Performance, curated by Carolina Santo from Portugal, living in Paris, France. And the last one is PQ Studio, curated by Patrick Divorce from Canada. I will not go into details about each project because we are lucky to have all curators online right now and they are ready to do the brief introduction of the projects themselves. And of course, in case of any question, there is a Q&A after the presentation, so please feel free to ask. I just want to point out that you can find all the information regarding projects on our webpage in PQ project section. You can find there all requirements and deadlines, which are different for each project. And of course, in case you are not sure about anything, please feel free to contact us on our email, which is call@pq.cz. And of course, we are ready to help you with any questions. And for now, I would like to introduce the first speaker, Clara Ciglarva, the curator of Fragments 2. So please, Clara.
Thank you very much for the introduction, Ivo. I'm Clara Ciglarva. If you attended PQ in 2019, you will remember exhibition of Fragments. Anna, could we go please to the first slide? That exhibition focused on fragments, whether it were pieces of sets, models, costumes, props, or lighting left behind once a production is over. We asked you to select a single fragment of work by the most celebrated artist from each country, most celebrated designer. Today, I'm thrilled to introduce to you Fragments 2. The theme of 2023 Fragments will be magic of scale. Similarly to Fragments 2019, we are looking for fragments, and in this case, scale models left behind once a production is over. Let's go to slide 2. Models, maquettes, mock-ups, thumbnails, any 3-dimensional miniature representations of reality are fascinating to us. They provoke our imagination, they stir up our fantasy, and invite us to contemplate different fictitious worlds. As children, we all played with toy cars and dolls, doll houses, railways, model trains. Adults, we often go to museums and admire scale models of buildings or cities. There's something very special about the possibility to explore an object from all sides, to get closer to it and to appreciate it in its intricate detail, as well as in relationship to other objects. Let's go to slide 3. And now in scenography and performance design, the practical purpose of model is to facilitate communication among members of the creative team. Models are tools. These tools enable us to convey ideas in a collaborative process, and they allow us to test our design choices in a scale that is manageable in both labor, physical labor, and expense. Scale, of course, can be also used dramaturgically. It helps us to suggest relationship between characters. It can create a huge emotional impact on the audience, and it can radically dictate a way a performer navigates a given space. Let's go to slide 4. So in fragments 2, we'll be looking for entries of 3-dimensional scale models of, could be sets, costumes, lighting, projections, makeup design, wig design, or any other component of performance design, whether realized or unrealized in the last 8 years. With this exhibition, we want to celebrate exceptional craftsmanship and exhibit models which transcend their original practical purpose and themselves become work of art. Now let's go to the next slide, some of the logistics. In order to apply, we would like some very basic information from you, please. Name of the designer, any relevant production credits, show title, which country and region they are coming from, using organization and venue, and please, as the people submit all your necessary information, contact information. In addition to this very basic information, it would be great to get a statement, short statement about the biography of the selected designer, and also why this particular model or production was chosen. One thing I wanted to mention, in fragments in 2019, we asked for only a single entry from a single country or region. This time, there is no limit of entries per country. In order for us to help us figure out a best way to exhibit the pieces, we would need, of course, a model of a photograph of the model or photographs, and overall dimensions, and also if you can specify the ideal viewing angle or angles and height, if that's relevant. You can see the deadlines on your screen, and to submit applications, please go to the application form on the PQ website. Thank you so much.
Clara, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your presentation. Next speaker is Andrew Filmer, curated performance space exhibition. So please, Andrew, if you can speak.
Thank you, Ivo. Thank you very much. And apologies, everyone, for the state of my voice this afternoon. I'm recovering from a cold. So the performance space exhibition for PQ23 is titled Acts of Assembly. And linking to the main theme of PQ23, it could also be thought of as rare acts of assembly. So what I want to do is talk a little bit, like Clara did, about the curatorial concept, the submission details, and a couple of ideas for the exhibition. My aim for the performance space exhibition is for it to be a forum for considering how performance spaces operate as acts of assembly and sites for community. So how do they create connections? How do they facilitate encounters? How do they function as spaces for social action and the making of culture? What underpins these central questions is an understanding that space performs. And this means that theatre buildings and performance spaces not only provide the infrastructure for various assemblies, but in and of themselves constitute acts of assembly. Through their location and position, their articulation of space, the affordances they provide, the materials they are constructed from, the ways they are managed and programmed, and their histories, performance spaces enable different forms of encounter, relation, appearance, and participation to occur. And in the words of Kenyan writer Ngugi wa Thiong'o, a performance space is a complex interplay of internal and external relations played out in the context of time and history. Of course, the COVID-19 pandemic has provided a catalyst for us to rethink many of our assumptions about theatre and performance, about the world, and about the relationship of theatre and performance to that world. As an ecological crisis, the pandemic has disrupted the operation of performance spaces as physical sites of assembly, and it's required us to adapt to the unseen and largely undetectable presence of a virus. Many theatres and performance spaces have closed for extended periods. Others have altered seating patterns to enable physical distancing, adjusted production processes, and sought to enhance ventilation. Still others have changed their function, serving as sites for the distribution of food and support to the communities around them. Meanwhile, developments in event streaming and digital media now ask us to consider performance itself as an assembly or assemblage, as performance can now happen in multiple places with and for different groups of people simultaneously. The concept of assembly offers us a lens through which to reconsider the occupations and functions of performance space in a time of social, political, and ecological upheaval. It also offers us a means of responding to these challenges and expanding the possibilities for what performance space might be. So for the performance space exhibition at PQ23, I'm welcoming the submission of any type of space that has been created or adapted for performance. It could be large or small, it could be indoor or outdoor, it could be purpose-built, it could be appropriated, it could be permanent, it could be temporary. I'm particularly interested in sourcing the submission of spaces from global majority countries, cultures, and peoples. That is from Africa, from the Middle East, from Asia, from South and Central America and Oceania, and particularly spaces that embody the knowledge and the cultures of First Nations peoples. Spaces need not have been designed by an architect. They may have been created by sonographers, by artists, or by communities themselves. They may be the result of careful planning or just sudden urgent action. So the curatorial concept outlined in the call finishes with a set of questions that map out the territory of this exhibition. And I would ask that any submissions respond to at least some of these questions. Importantly, they need not respond to all of them. So the questions are, what does your space do? How does it perform? How does it create space for the appearance of individuals and or communities? How does it negotiate social and cultural differences? How has the COVID-19 pandemic shifted or altered the function of your performance space? And how does your performance space create connections between the human and non-human world? In terms of the details of submission, in response to the concept, I'm asking for submissions that take the form of a portfolio of material traces. So these may include, as the call lists, one or more of the following. It could be a short film of up to 5 minutes. It could be a sound recording. It could be an object or a thing, an architectural fragment, or a visual image of any kind. Importantly, the portfolio need not include all these things. So it can be one or more. And if it is just one of those things, that's fine too. What you do send should provide insight into the specific qualities of the space that's being submitted. Its feel, its textures, its atmospheres, its actions, its operations. Our films and sound recordings should focus on conveying the multi-sensory experience of that space. So including multiple voices in your film or your sound recording is encouraged, but please avoid static interviews. Think about how you might show rather than tell. And of course, films don't need to be professionally produced. They can be filmed on a smartphone, and the emphasis should be on providing a creative response to the curatorial concept rather than displaying high production values or marketing a particular space. I'm asking that all submissions be accompanied by a short written statement of no more than 400 words, which specifies how your submission responds to the curatorial concept. And the closing date for submissions to the Performance Space exhibition is the 30th of April, 2022. If you're submitting by that date, please include all the aspects of your portfolio, but no actual physical objects or fragments, just digital documentation of these, including the full size and dimensions of them. Should your submission then be selected for inclusion, and the announcement will be on the 31st of August, 2022, then we'll provide you with details of how and when and where to deliver any physical objects and materials. Just towards the end then, having spoken about details of submission, a couple of thoughts about the form of the exhibition, and this I think will give you some ideas about what you might submit and how. My key intention for the exhibition is that it not just represent the concept of acts of assembly and the features of performance space, but also in some way embody these. And so my hope is that the space can be open and adaptable, possibly able to be reconfigured for different times and purposes, and that rather than a space for display, My hope is that it can be a space in which groups can meet and in which discussion, debate, and dialogue can take place. So just to finish then, firstly, thank you for listening. I hope it's been a helpful kind of talk around the call and the submission details. I'd like to finish with two requests. Firstly, please forward the call for the performance space exhibition to any space makers and creators whose work you think should be part of the exhibition and encourage them to participate. And secondly, please get in contact with me via PQ directly if you're aware of any spaces which you think would speak powerfully to the concept for the exhibition. Over the coming months, I'll be spreading word and encouraging submissions, so I value any tips you might have of where to look and who to speak with. Thank you very much, and I'll pass it back to you, Ivo.
Andrew, thank you very much. Right now, I would like to welcome Barbara Přihodová, curator of PQ Talks. Barbara.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm calling from Philadelphia, and in the last PQ 2019, for those of you who were there, I was one of the curators of PQ Talks then with my colleague Pavel Drabe. And for the next PQ, I will continue with this work. And for the next edition of PQ Talks will be once again conceived as a platform for a critical conversation around performance design and scenography in all their forms. We are really open to all different levels of experiences, all different disciplines, meaning that we welcome scenographers, performance designers, costume designers, students, academics, scholars, all of these people to come to talk to us about performance design and scenography. And we'll do that through several different formats that I'll talk about just in a little bit, that we're going to be grouping in thematic blocks. So we really do envision the next PQ Talks as a feast of ideas, provocations, propositions that will somewhat complement the programming of Prague Quadrennial, the exhibits, the workshops, performances, installations, and other events going on. We'll do that by talking. And in terms of the content, I hope we can reflect on the new artistic pathways that have emerged from the different crises of our times. And that's obviously the pandemic, but also other crises like climate change, like racism, neocolonial processes, and other things that are going on. We have defined 7 very broad questions that we would like you to maybe think about. The first one is, what forms and practices in performance design and space have emerged despite the restrictions of collective gatherings and mobility? The second, how have the crises I've mentioned, like climate change, racism, and pandemic, transformed our views and models of collaboration in performance design and scenography? Thirdly, what impact have performance designers and scenographers had on their societies and communities, politically, ecologically, and socially? Number 4, to what extent have science and technologies transformed performance design, scenography, and space? Fifthly, what are the new ways to teach, promote, and critically reflect on performance design and scenography? Number 6, how can we work towards decolonizing performance design and scenography? And finally, 7, what is the role of performance design and scenography and space in helping us to envision what the world and theater could look like in the post-pandemic future? So these are the very broad questions that we're especially interested in, but we're also open to proposals from outside of these questions, because we do believe that the PQ Talks should reflect the PQ community as a large. So if there is something else you feel like we all should talk about, please don't feel free to propose that. Either way, we are interested in proposals that engage in dialogue, bearing in mind that we are a global community, very diverse community, and we look for ways to find the common grounds And the formats that we invite. We're going to have some keynote presentations, but we're looking for proposals that could be what we call flash talks, which are very brief, concise presentations, up to 8 minutes, that can introduce an idea or a project. And then we hope to have discussion panels and roundtables. And for those, you may either propose an individual contribution, and we'll see if we can group you together with some similar ones to form a panel. Or you can propose the whole roundtable or a whole discussion group. And for those, if you are applying with the bigger one, we do hope that we're going to have contributions that show different perspectives, different voices, different disciplines, different identities. So preferably, hopefully, we have panel discussions with people from more than 2 different countries or 2 different disciplines, 2 different schools that will create interesting discussion. And we will do our best to accommodate the proposals, combine them, and we'll do all of that, upholding values that we hold of being diverse and being inclusive. I do want to mention the issue of language. We are aware that most of the participants of PQ, for most of us, English is not our first language, and sometimes the fact that we hold PQ talks in English may pose a challenge or a disadvantage. On that note, I do want to encourage everyone to apply, even if you feel your level of English is not where you would like it to be. Please don't get discouraged. Please apply. We want to hear from you. We're going to work with you. We're going to make sure everyone is heard, and we're going to make sure we get a wide scope of contributions in the programming. And so to apply, please follow the PQ calls, the PQ applications. The deadline for PQ talks is November 30th. We ask that you please provide description of your proposed talk, indicate the chosen format. Is it a flash talk? Is this a panel discussion? Who are the presenters that you would like to have included? And we ask for the short bio of you as the presenter, or if there are more people, then we want their bios as well. And I think that's all for me. Thank you so much.
Barbara, thank you very much. Next speaker is Paula Drabe, Curator of Best Publication Award.
Hello, and welcome, greetings to wherever you are and whenever you are in the world, or if you are watching this from a recording. I hope that this presentation of the Best Publication Award call will answer your main questions. I have a short presentation to share with you. Everything that I'm sharing here is taken from the official call, from the PDF that is available on www.pq.cz. So that's where you find everything. So there is no need to take any notes. You can find it easily on the website. So let me move on. If once I learn how to operate this, I will do it. So the curatorial concept, and don't worry, I'm not going to read all of it, is to celebrate and to celebrate the publications that have been or will have been made available across the world in the field of performance design and sonography. In keeping with what Barbara said, I'm very interested in celebrating the knowledge. We are a knowledge community, and the rare opportunity of meeting in Prague in June 2023 is also to bring together people who think about performance design and sonography, who work in it, who publish in it. So irrespective of what the language is, we would like to hear from you. And this award is not only a competition for the best, but it is more of a celebration and acknowledgement and a sharing of knowledge and information and the expertise that we as a knowledge and artistic community have. So any book-length publication in the relevant disciplines, that is of sonography, that have been published in any language between the 1st of August 2018, which was the cutoff date for the previous PQ Best Publication Award, and the 31st of October 2022, that is a year from today, can be entered into the award and will be considered. We welcome publications from all sonographic disciplines and genres. So please note that if this is not listed, if there is something that is not listed, please consider applying anyway. If you are in doubt, don't hesitate to contact me through the official PQ contact. So the disciplines are costume, sound, lighting, set, mask, makeup, prosthetics, props, puppetry, stage technology, virtual and digital performance, installation art, visual and material dramaturgy, as well as curations of public performance spaces and theatre architectures, including studies of historical practices. Now, we don't know what your expertise is, but we would like to hear about it. So please, if there is a book or a book-length study, whether it's electronic or if it is a physical book, we would like you to consider applying. All submitted publications that fulfill the criteria will be considered. A jury will announce a long list in January 2023. This is very clearly a matter of promotion and a celebration. We would like to acknowledge how much work has gone into publishing your book. And so we will publish a long list, then a short list in March 2023. And as part of the official award ceremony in the PQ 2023 festival in June, we will announce the winners. These are the dates. So we invite any proposals of book-length publications in the relevant subjects in any languages. Publications can be monographs, theoretical and historiographic studies, as well as publications about practice, including new journals of performance design and sonography. The work needs to be published or published between the 1st of August 2018 and the 31st of October 2022. The deadline for the submission is the cutoff date, that is the 31st of October 2022. By that time, we need to receive your application. What that application includes, I will show on the next slide. We would need you to apply with the following items: 2 physical copies of the publication to be posted to PQ by the deadline. If the book is electronic, please send us 2 printouts. This will immensely help the panel to select it and also share your publications and study them ahead of the long list, the short list, and the winning award. Please include an electronic cover documentation comprising a short synopsis in English of 300 to 500 words. 2, and this is very important, a short video in English of 3 to 10 minutes that introduces the book. A PDF of the publication, if possible, as this will help the jury to access it. And of course, the contact details for the publisher and author or editor. Now, in keeping with the PQ Knowledge Exchange platform that some of you may already know about, we will circulate the electronic synopses on this website, and in order to promote the publications. This will also help us to share the knowledge ahead of PQ, so that there is a presence that lasts not only within the 10 days that we will hopefully meet in Prague in June 2023, but also beyond, so that your publication can reach readers and curious minds across the world. I would say that this is everything in terms of PQ Best Publication Award. As I mentioned, everything that I've presented is taken from the PDF of the official call that is on the PQ website. And if in doubt, please contact me through the provided email. Thank you very much. Over to you, Ivo.
Thank you very much, Pavel. The next speaker is Carolina Santo, curated PQ performance. So please, Carolina.
Hello, how nice to be here with
Hello.
all of you. Hello,
Nice
Ivo.
to see you again.
Thanks. This is the first time that I am a curator for PQ. In 2019, I was actually presenting at the Site-Specific Performance Festival. So I'm here to say that I've been on the other side as well. And I'm obviously very happy to be curating PQ performances, rare experiences. And these deal with expanded notions of sonography. Expanding sonography outside of the theater building has led me to consider the practice of sonography as more grounded. Operating as a grounded performer means creating with what is at reach and considering all surrounding factors as co-creative entities. It means that spatial and embodied practices are connecting performance to the earth. It means that creating resonances between, it means creating resonances between the internal and the external, and also suggesting that the designer's mind becomes a landscape to explore and traverse. And that is the state of mind in which I have traveled to Prague in July 2021, so this summer. I really felt the need to get a personal experience of the different possible sites for PQ performance. And I spent quite a long time in the Prague Market, but also at the National Gallery and walking around the city. Actually discussing ideas with Markéta Fontova while walking from one venue to the other was absolutely inspirational. And this is one of the reasons why I would like to consider performances that connect different sides of the PQ and serve as a sort of performance mapping of the city, or of the performance mapping of the PQ, let's say. These, of course, can be walking performances or running performance, sitting or site-specific, but are not restricted to those. Now, the main venue of the Prague Market has immensely inspired me. In fact, it has affected me in ways that made me reconsider the notion of worlding. And this is a word that I don't use in the call, but I would like just to make a short statement about it. Worlding is here meant not as a dominant colonizing action over something or some place, but as an attitude of care and attention towards the heterogeneity of worlds happening simultaneously. And the performance call starts with this introduction where I try to take you by the hand into the atmosphere, this electric atmosphere of the Prague markets. Imagine a place where you can practice acrobatics, find your scuba diving gear, buy fresh fruit and vegetables from a local farmer's market, purchase a hammer, a new carpet, or the latest laptop, meet your friends at the cafe, go to the theater or rock opera concert after having dinner on the terrace of a smoky food truck while a Hollywood production is being filmed. It's overwhelming. And because this place was once a slaughterhouse, I also suggest you to peel back the layers and to exhume ghosts and unveil maybe the darker usages of this space. So this is a Prague Market, a city within a city opening to multiple possible worlds. And of course, the term worlding has a long history of meanings and usages that would be too long to resume here, but I felt it was important to refer to it. as I'm speaking to you now. Before I wrote the call this summer, I had a chance to read Tanya Baer's latest book, Ecosonography, an Introduction to Ecological Design for Performance, that brilliantly brings forth the importance of ecological thinking applied to performance, and how the attentiveness to relational systems and the affectivity between different beings constantly renegotiate our relation to the world. So the open call for performance, for PQ performance, was written considering all this, but also the unprecedented times that we are living, which seem to be reconfiguring the way that we live, that we think, but also that we make theater. And I am very enthusiastic that Markéta Fantova's artistic vision brought up this theme, rare. And that is why I'm really calling for inventive and resourceful artists to celebrate life as a rare experience of encounters, and to explore the potentials of performance as a scenographic ability to imagine, create, and express new realities within existing realities, to devise rare experiences and stage singular possible worlds. And yes, let the vibrancy of this location of the Prague Market, that is a city within the city, a world within the world, defy the periods of forced isolation that we've all experienced, in which mundane objects and everyday gestures of domestic life blended with our deepest fears and anxieties. So the question is, how can we explore the humane potential of performance to celebrate the experience of being together in the world? How can we foresee the future of theater and performance as a sustainable practice of encounters? We need to think of what needs to be performed urgently. And this is a moment for phenomenal states of presence and collective assemblages. So let's take responsibility, let's take care, let's be attentive to the connections between living systems as ecosystems. And while so doing, let our secretive, personal, inner, local world become part of the world. Let these encounters inspire your future presence. Let your performance reveal the potentials of space, spread the space within you, expand it, share it, and explore these rare experiences. In short, bring your world to the PQ 23. Now, for more details, I will share the call with you. There. You will find the open call written, everything written in these pages. The open call has been written also in French and Portuguese. These are languages that I speak, and you are more than welcome to apply in those languages. Now, for submission details, you can apply until January 31st of January, and the official announcement will be made on May 31st. This is made to give you time to prepare production-wise, and also to try to find financial support to come to PQ. For the application now, we kindly ask you to fill the form, of course, and also provide a short biography of 250 words and a project description that can be up to 500 words long. These can be written in Portuguese or French or English. Any material that you send, video material that is non-English speaking, please subtitle it too with English subtitles. Now, last things I want to say is that performance venues are important. We want performances to operate scenographically, so please choose your venue or the typology of your venue according to what you want to say and perform. For this edition, all performance venues will be outdoors except for the National Gallery that has possibilities of open space and gallery space. and this we can discuss this when you apply. The National Gallery is also where a performance space exhibition will take place, so there can be interesting connections between performances and performance space exhibition. Other venues are the Prague Market, of course, and also, as I started saying, paths connecting different venues of the PQ. And I also welcome you to imagine performances in green city zones, like the Letna Park or the Vlatva River. Now, in relation to performance formats, these include but are not restricted to site-specific, durational, conceptual, walking performances, running performance, sitting performances, visual, dance, theater, puppet theater, opera, or ritual. Please feel free to open up your world and bring it to PQ. Thank you very much.
Carolina, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your presentation. And the last two speakers are Patrick Dewars, curator of the PQ studio, and Victoria Shmoranzová, coordinator of the project. So please, Patrick.
Thank you, Ivo. Well, I'm just completely delighted to be here with you all today. I was the curator of the Canadian National Exhibition in 2015 and curated PQ Studio in 2019, and I'm so honored to be doing it again. So I'm based in Victoria, what is now known as Victoria, British Columbia. But I would just like to take a moment to acknowledge the Lekwungen peoples on whose traditional territory the University of Victoria stands, and the Songhees, Esquimalt, and Wasanich peoples whose historical relationship with the land continue to this day. Now, to jump into the curatorial concept for PQ Studio, I thought both in 2019 and this time, I've thought a lot about what the studio means. What is this place? And I think that the idea has shifted a little bit, or how I currently think of the studio has shifted with the dramatic events that we've sort of experienced with the global pandemic. So working from the overall artistic statement of or artistic direction of the Prague Quadrennial, I've come to think of the studio as a place where art is born through human connection. And the studio may be a place where artists encounter each other in person to devise, rehearse, build, experiment, install, or perform. The studio may also be a place where an individual artist confronts and wrestles with a provocation from another artist in the form of an authored text, a director's prompt, or a dramaturg's research. In other words, a performance designer, even when they're alone in their studio, is never alone in their work. Instead, human interconnectivity is the commonality in the studio and is integral to the work of the performance designer. So in keeping with PQ 2023's artistic directive, RARE, PQ Studio will celebrate the magic of human connection, which lies at the heart of performance design. We will dig deep by asking, what is this rare alchemy? What are these rare experiences when people come together in a space with a shared goal of making something astonishing happen? How do we conjure these experiences, and what strategies can be learned, shared, or debated to spark works of exceptional rarity? So through that framework, we are looking at three projects for PQ Studio. The first project being workshops and masterclasses. The second project, which is, we're taking quite a different approach this time, is the Uncommon Design Project. And the third being PQ Studio stage, which is the PQ Studio Performance Festival, festival of performances by emerging artists and students. So I'll mention, I'll go briefly through some of the points of the workshop and masterclass application. And the main thing to note is that as in, and all of this information is in the call. So as Pavel pointed out, no need to take notes, just have a look at the call. But the main thing to note, as in 2019, we have two workshop formats. The first one we call an experiential or exploratory workshop format. And that's in a way a more conventional workshop based on knowledge transmission or exploration or experimentation, where it's really about the process of the workshop and there is not a defined outcome. The other kind of workshop that we're offering, which is, or that we're looking to offer, is the results-driven workshop. And those workshops have a defined outcome. So these are longer workshops. They can range anywhere from 1 day to 4 days, but they are generally on the longer side. And in the workshop, you as a workshop leader would be proposing to work with a group of workshop participants to achieve a final outcome. So that final outcome could be a performance, it could be an exhibition, it could be a presentation of any kind. But at the end of the day, we wanted to tie, the work that we do in sonography to the audience. So that, to give you as a potential workshop leader and the workshop participants a chance to show the work that has resulted from the intense time that you have spent together over the number of days of the workshop. Now, one of the things, there's quite a list of things that we ask you to submit, which are all in the call. I guess, and I won't go through them all because it's just, it's too granular. But what I would encourage you to do is carefully read the call and to really clearly articulate what you want to do in this workshop. Not just in an abstract or intellectual sense, but what will you actually be doing with the workshop participants in the time that you have together? If you can articulate that, that will make for a very strong application. And remember that the PQ Studio is the experiential learning component of the Prague Quadrennial. And so it's about active education. And so it really is what I will be looking for is, and the team will be looking for is what will you actually be doing in these workshops? Now, the second part of PQ Studio, the Uncommon Design Project, in a spirit of openness and really to encourage a participation from parts of the world that have not participated in this project in the past. And we hope that those who have participated previously will continue to do so, even in this new format. We are looking at as a point of commonality in a prompt, as opposed to in the past where we've used a script as a point of commonality. So, so PQ Studio launches the 2023 Uncommon Design Project, calling for original performance design proposals that explore the rare. Rare encounters between people, between cultures, and between worldviews, rare time and occasions for these encounters, rare spaces, environments, and settings where these take place. So you may draw on existing plays or scripts, legends or myths, but also can also be devised nonverbal or experimental work. So most importantly, your work should give your PQ audience the rare opportunity to encounter your culture, your world, and you through your art. So the celebration of rare is also an appreciation of difference and a reminder of the essential element of human connection in performance. Different cultural backgrounds, artistic impulses, and pragmatic circumstances are at the heart of our human relationships. And the point of commonality in 2023 will be the demonstration or facilitation of those rare experiences where performance design is the catalyst for something truly astonishing. So we look forward to seeing a huge variety of proposals for the Common Design Project. The project will run according to the timeline outlined in the call. So primarily, the first step is to simply register your institution as planning to participate. So that registration is the form that opens through the call, and through the PDF, there's a link in there, and that's the registration that opens. Later on, once you confirm that you're participating, there will be a link for a submission form. The time when we're actually looking at the submission, when we really want to know that you're participating, is between September 1st, 2022 and October 1st, 2022. So by October 1st, 2022, we will have essentially, we will know which universities or theater design courses will be participating. We're also going to be offering 2 webinars to the participating students and their programs. So one to introduce the project, where you'll get to know the PQ Studio team, myself and the PQ Artistic Director Marketa Fantova, as well as Vicky, who you'll meet a little bit later after I'm finished. And then what will happen is that each participating institution will submit a complete design proposal from one team or from one individual student. So even you as an instructor have the complete freedom to structure this within your existing curriculum as you feel is appropriate. We encourage you to offer as much freedom to the students as possible. But ultimately, we ask that as course instructors, you join us in the difficult process of curation by selecting only one project to represent your course. And then there will be a team that will make a selection, and then we will work with you. If you are selected, we'll work with you in terms of where and how your work will be exhibited in Prague. One final thing I will mention in terms of the provocation rare, something that we are asking you to really think about is actually the first point under project guidelines, which is, again, to really encourage your students to be considering the current moment. So from the global health emergency to the climate crisis to profound issues of social justice, students are encouraged to consider real and existential challenges facing humanity in their submissions. So we encourage you and your students to be considering those things very carefully. And then finally, the PQ Studio stage, which is the performance festival for students and emerging artists. We will be, again, working with DAMU on this project with the Theater Academy in Prague, and we will be launching that call in January of 2022. So the full details of what would be involved with that submission will come out in January 2022. So I'd like to just take this moment now to pass the microphone over to the most important person behind PQ Studio, which is our incredible project manager. Vicky, why don't you tell our audience a little bit about the venues?
Hello, everybody. So my name is Victoria, and I was PQ Studio manager last time, and hopefully I will be for the next time as well. And I'm really glad that I can work with Patrick again, because it's very it's a nice, in a nice way, it's nice to work with somebody again after 4 years. So I think you said pretty everything, Patrick. I maybe just mentioned that the majority of project of PQ Studio takes place at the DAMU, which is the Academy of Performing Arts. It's a university placed in the middle of the center of the town, not far away from Prague Market. It's a school with own theater, and most of the workshops takes place there, and also the performances, the student performances takes place there. But as last time, we also count with the project which will be situated outside of the school. And as Carolina mentioned, we would also like to use some spots on the way from the university to Prague Market. That's the places we are sure for now. We are also discussing that we would like to show the results of the Uncommon Design project, hopefully in the National Gallery as well. So as you see, we are following the spots of PQ, but mostly we will be a little bit away from you, but not far, and it's at the Academy of Performing Arts. So hopefully we will see you in a year and a half. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vicky. So now I think it's the time. Thank you very much for the presentation as well, Patrick. Thank you. So now I think it's the time for Q&A. So maybe Erika, if you can start with the first question, please.
Yes, hello again. And the first question is it possible if the work is a continued process for 7 days at the same time?
Well, I understand this question that somebody is asking whether durational performances can be also sent with an application. And as it was in 2019, I believe Carolina will agree with me that if there is a durational performance, definitely apply with it, and we'll find a way how to place it if the curation process chooses such project. But durational performances are definitely welcome.
Another question, is there a certain price per square meter of exhibition area?
Well, this is a question more for Michaela. However, I will just say that there is always a particular amount or price, not per square meter, but per the actual area that each country or region will have. It will not change much since the last time, I don't think. And that amount is never really high. So essentially, it's, I would say, something fairly low. And everyone who participated in the past is aware of what it was in 2019. And I don't think we'll go away from that number very much or very far.
Here's a question about project fragments. Do we need to send by November 30 the main informations about the model we choose?
Well, this is an important question, and it's a good one because we thought about this as well. What this date means is only to let us know that you are considering participation, that you are planning to send us a model, that you are already have some artist in mind whose model is possibly the object. And what happens with this particular exhibition is that it is done in close collaboration with curators of countries and regions. They helped to ship these objects to us in Prague, and therefore they are the ones who are indicating that they will be participating in this exhibition. So it's the same deadline as for participation in countries and regions. If there is anybody who's outside of the curatorial process of the country or a region, they simply need to find out who is representing the country or the region, get in contact with them, and find a way how to collaborate, cooperate, and just indicate by that date that you might be submitting something. The details come later.
Question specifically to Patrick Duvors. is it only institution participating or individuals could do so?
With the Uncommon Design Project, yes. Yes. You could always contact us. Sometimes we make exceptions. Generally, we feel that it is useful for participants to have the support of their institution from their design instructors, or if they're not in a design course of an instructor of some sort to provide structure and support and guidance through the project. So generally it is for an institution, or sometimes we have had participants create their own mentorship situation. So if you happen to have a relationship with a company, a theater company that has a resident designer who'd be willing to serve as a sort of mentor on your project, then that's another possibility. But by all means, email us directly, and we usually find a way to allow people to participate.
Thank you. Another question. Are interdisciplinary projects welcome?
Absolutely. Sonography is interdisciplinary by its nature. So performance design sonography is interdisciplinary. So yes, the answer is very simple. Yes.
Question about the representation of costume and the body within the concept of PQ. How can we make some focus for this?
This is a question that repeats, and I think this also deserves an answer, because I think this question will come back quite often and is coming back to us all the time. If actually, I think I would recommend or would ask, if please, all of you look at our newly defined, or we decided that we have to define ourselves essentially. We have to say who we are and what we're doing for this PQ 23. And so we also defined how we see sonography for this edition of PQ. And within that, we're trying to really explain that what we're looking at is collaboration. We're looking at how every part of the team and every artistic part collaborates on creating these sensorial spaces of performance designs and sonographies. And every part matters, and we decided that we are not interested in presenting sonography in silos or in separate areas, which I understand is something that some people feel that we're maybe not paying attention to certain areas that maybe were not paid attention to in the long past or in the past. However, we are always trying to, in our curatorial process, make sure that we select projects that represent all of these areas. Some of them may represent costume more, some of them may represent lighting, some of them sound, but it is part of the curatorial process where we watch for equal representation of as many disciplines as we can possibly fit in, because it's not just costumes anymore. It's new media, it's all kinds of other things that we need to include. So collaboration is what we're focusing on, teamwork is what we're focusing on, and really looking at representation of all the disciplines, but through curatorial process.
Another question, is there a time limit for each type of workshop per day?
This is a question for Vicky and for Patrick.
I think the shortest could be 90 minutes, no, Patrick?
Yes. So exploratory workshops could be anywhere between 90 minutes and 4 days. Usually they're on the shorter side. They're quite often half a day or a day. And then the results-driven workshops can be anywhere from 1 to 4 days, but usually they are on the longer side.
Thank you. Another question, do people pay to participate?
Well, for anybody who comes in and just visits, there's an accreditation, but that's not the question. The question is somebody's actually actively participating. And that differs on the level of participation. If somebody is coming in with a performance, then no, they do not pay for accreditation. But in terms of, do we have money to pay for all the performances that we choose? If you read the call, what we're saying is we might support certain portion or certain part, but we're always asking everyone who's applying to also think about other resources, because what oftentimes happens is we choose through curatorial process a certain number of performances, but at the same time we really want to give opportunities, because there are many who really want the opportunities. So we add more sometimes, which makes PQ then really large. And there are many who really want to do it no matter what, so they find their own funding. So it is a balance. It's something that we're really trying to work on, trying to bring as much money as we can, but we also have to fundraise, and we also have to do a lot of work to get there. So at the moment, we're saying, look at both options.
Okay, and last question so far. Are you looking only at finished, already executed projects? Should designers who are in process of conceiving or have work in progress apply?
This is also, I think Carolina will probably add to this. For what we had in the past and what we're looking at is in the process of application, oftentimes the applications come with the date of when the performance, for instance, will be finished, and it could be shortly before PQ, and the plan is to present it at PQ. Sometimes it's difficult to really make sure that this will really happen as planned, and sometimes the artists don't know quite certainly which direction the project will go. So if there is a very clear description, if there is a very clear direction, and if there is a pathway to reach the goal, of course it is possible. And I'll let Carolina to add to that, because I'm sure she has something to say about this as well.
Yes, we do welcome projects that are conceived for the PQ. I mean, I myself created a tailor-made project for PQ 19. So yes, we do encourage you to conceive something new for this, responding to the open call, responding to the spaces. But if you all already have something that is meaningful and that you want to show, that is also possible.
Thank you.
Thank you. Another question. Do we need to have a curator defined at the end of November 21 when we send the inscription formula?
This, I'm assuming, is a question coming from countries and regions, or it is about countries and regions exhibition, or perhaps student exhibition. And I will hand it over to Magda.
Hi again. I would like to confirm that you don't need to have the curator defined by the end of November. If you're a curatorial group or an institution applying, just let me know, and we can define the curator at the beginning of next year.
I think we answered them all, so.
I just vaguely remember there's one important question that we somewhat missed, and that was a question that came up out of many meetings in different countries that we went to. And the question was, can people apply to the projects without necessarily going through some institution? This is a good question, because in some countries, artists still think that because of countries and regions exhibition or student exhibition, anything that is going to PQ has to go through the institution that is curating the process. That's not true. If you have a performance, if you want to participate in PQ Studio, you can do so on your own. You don't need to go through the institution that is bringing countries and regions exhibition or student exhibition. So that's a big misconception, and we found out that there were countries where artists were not participating because they were afraid not to do it with the permission of this institution. So please come to PQ. Don't worry about contacting anybody else besides us in case you want to participate in our project. And maybe one more thing to say, I am sitting here instead of Petra Jansa, who is our main head of communications. Unfortunately, she's sick and she was supposed to be here with us, but I think at this point you really met, I think, everyone on our team except for her, but I'm sure you will definitely meet her in May during our live symposium that hopefully will be live with people present and no Zoom.
So thank you very much. So if there are no other questions, we would like to thank you for your attendance. We would like to thank all the curators for their presentation, and I would like to thank the rest of the team. We hope you enjoy the symposium, and we hope that we can see you at the next edition of PQ. Thank you very much, and have a nice evening.